Hey, this is Khan from Ninja Pulls. Weapon passives will change in Update 39. The bonuses on Twin Blade and Blunt and heavy weapons were reduced slightly. 2 daggers now grant 1314 crit chance, down from 1624. Don't panic guys, that's only a 1.4% drop in crit chance, which for a typical setup is about a 1% drop in total damage if you keep using daggers. There are a few variables, but crit RNG means you might not even notice half the time. Bows got a big buff. Longshots is now Vine Dusk training and boosts all your damage and not just bow abilities. The boost changes when you move 15 meters away from your target and won't be quite as strong as the 5% increase when you're close, but the difference is small, so this passive is going to be super valuable wherever you are, and bows are going to be almost as good as daggers now. Destruction staves. The main thing here is Ancient Knowledge. Inferno staves now buff dots and status effects. Lightning staves buff channels and direct damage. The other destruction staff passives still don't compete with dual wield, but 12% is a lot. Just keep in mind it doesn't apply to everything the way bows and daggers do, so take a hard look at the type of damage you're pushing. Based on some back-of-the-envelope numbers for typical setups in an optimized group, daggers seem to be about 7% stronger before you factor in Ancient Knowledge. So in a daggers versus Inferno Staff situation, the more dots you have, the more that 7% lead will shrink until eventually the Inferno pulls ahead. Just treat Ancient Knowledge like a slottable CP like Thaumaturge or Master at Arms, and measure its impact based on your damage type. To overtake daggers, that 12% boost needs to affect about 60% of your damage, give or take. For example, about 80% of my Arcanist's damage is damage over time, because the game treats Fate Carver as a dot. So I gained a bit of DPS by making the switch to Inferno. My Mag DK also passes that threshold, but not by as much, so it gains less than the Arcanist does. My Necromancer setup does not pass that threshold, but I've been using Skull a lot more after they buffed it, so I actually lost a bit of damage by switching to an Inferno. But if you just pile into dots, the equation will shift again. Point is, always check where your damage is coming from. And if you're not sure about a specific ability, the easiest way to confirm is to check the tooltip, make a note of it, or repeat it to yourself, then slot or unslot the blue CP you think should affect it, and see if it changes. Just don't bar swap, take a potion, or do anything to change your stats while you're checking it. There are always more details, more mitigating factors. It's what makes the combat system fun in this game. So please verify, and don't just blindly trust the guy in zone chat who says daggers are dead. The simplest way to look at these changes is that the front bar weapon choices for damage are all a bit closer together now. I still think dual wield is your first port of call. Hitting the caps for penetration and crit damage should be a priority. And if you can't get there with CPs and group buffs, maces and axes are extremely useful. Assuming you're all set for pen and crit, daggers are still an excellent all-round front bar, followed by bows. And then, if you're heavily skewed towards dots, Infernos pull ahead, and if you're focusing on direct damage, Lightning may come out in front. Remember, these passives only apply while you're on the bar where that weapon is equipped. I'm talking mostly about front bar options here, but another interesting change is the Maelstrom two-hander, which now buffs all your direct damage while Stampede is running. We won't get into that here, but if you really like a simplified, direct damage rotation with a lot of spams, then a Maelstrom 2H back bar with a Lightning front bar might be an attractive option for you, even if it's not strictly meta. We'll have some interesting options, is what I'm trying to say. Personally, I am a little weary of changes like this which don't really advance anything or address specific issues with the game. All they've really done is move the furniture around a bit. Live service games love to do this, and I get it. The changes aren't bad, just unmotivated, and a lot of extra work for content creators. But all in all, Update 39 looks like a solid patch, a mountain of bug fixes, and some nice little changes to combat abilities, in addition to all the stuff covered here. Like I said, there's no single solution when it comes to choosing your front bar weapon, but hopefully I've helped lay out the basics. Once we're live, I'll start putting out class-specific videos and rotations. If you appreciate the content and the effort that goes into making stuff like this, you know what to do. Subscribe to support the channel, like and share the video, and we will keep it up. Thanks for watching.